I'm Nikki Cassie, as she said, and I'm a PhD student at the Rowett Institute at the University of Aberdeen. That'll be my 4 pals that I brought. And my field is I'm interested in the brain's role in obesity. Yeah. I'm really lucky for the fact that I'm interested in this because the EU's decided to give me funding for 4 years to complete my PhD because it's so worthwhile. But I've pretty much already written my thesis, so I'm spending this 4 years doing things like Bright Club, stalking about on Facebook, watching One Direction videos on YouTube, not their music videos, videos of them at like their sports day, eating sandwiches, that sort of thing. Anyway, back to my complex molecular biology thesis. I'm really interested in the brain's role in obesity and the idea that we eat with our brain. What goes in our stomach communicates to our brain, and that's how we define when we eat and we're full. So, I've been writing this thesis that I've clearly nearly finished, and I'll give you a little taste of it. It's called Put Down the Fucking Fork. No, but seriously, when you tell people you work in obesity research, the floodgates open. We are a nation obsessed with obesity. We love those freak show documentaries on Channel 4. Yeah, we do. Super Size versus the 42-stone woman who secretly eats her children. Yes. Oh God, I'm obsessed. I love it. I love that, what I like to call documentary fat, which is somewhere between having to buy your own clothes in a special kind of shop and being hunted for piano keys. I recently found out how much we are obsessed with weight and obesity when last year at the British Science Festival I signed up to do science busking, which involves putting a lab coat on, filling your pockets full of science tricks and going down and talking to the public about your science. But I chose to do this in Union Square on a Saturday. If Disneyland is the happiest place on earth, Union Square is pretty much about the same as being the creche at Animal Hospital for places you don't want to be. So I got ready and went down to Union Square and was ready to share my science with the public, my complex molecular biology. I'm interested in cloning, I work with radiation. At no point did I mention weight loss trial, Weight Watchers, Weigh Anyone, or reel out Dr. Christopher Jensen for a chat. But yet, within about 30 seconds of being there, I had 1,000 volunteers for my weight loss study. So, being me, I decided to play up a little bit. So I started recruiting people for my weight loss study. So, people come up to me and go, oh, well, I need to lose a few pounds. And I was like, yeah. I think I might put you in my super morbidly obese group. And I started to get volunteers, believe it or not. So I did the usual thing you would ask. What's your name? What's your address? What's your bank sort code? What's your mother's maiden name? I've not been asked back to do science busking again. So Union Square's loss is your game, Drummond's. As you can tell, I'm not very good at talking to people. Whether it comes friends, family, the public, colleagues, and boys. Mainly boys. I am terrible at talking to the opposite sex, which is ironic considering me, like all other scientists, got into this for the sex and the drugs and rock and roll. My ability to cock-block myself is something that was shown to me recently when I went on a classy holiday with some classy ladies to Malia. Or as they like to call it, the clunge capital of Europe. So, after a week at the hotel, I'd spotted this boy that I liked through the whole thing. And I did my usual flirting technique. I laid the groundwork. I didn't speak to him, didn't look at him, only viewed him directly through a little box with a mirror and a pinhole. These are also my instructions for a solar eclipse, but I find that they work. So on the last night of the holiday, I thought, Nikki, be brave, go speak to him, go on. So maybe it was the pina coladas, maybe it was the fact that it was approaching the romancing hour of 2:45, or maybe it was the wham playing in the background, but I got confident. So I went over and I started speaking to him, and lo and behold, it worked. We were chatting and laughing, he even had his hand on my knee. And then, I know, and then we got to the point of the conversation where we talk about what we do. So So I started telling him about what I do as a molecular scientist, which, for the record, is really good chat-up patter. I started telling him how fascinating the brain is, and how it's not your stomach that you eat with, it's your brain. The thing that I find most fascinating is one fact that I enjoy, that no matter what you eat, your brain expresses a neuropeptide called CART, which is called the cocaine-amphetamine regulated transcript. So, no matter what food you consume, your brain sends out the same signals as it would as if you took cocaine. And I started going on about how I think that could be a lot to play in the obesity epidemic. I was shot down in flames. He just shot me down with some sort of obesity, it's all bullshit crap. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I had a dilemma on my hands. A dilemma that I like to refer to in the flat as Sophie's choice. People don't like it when I refer to it as that, but I'm sticking with it. Do I correct him? My science brain is screaming at me, correct him, Nikki, correct him, you know he's wrong. Who gives a fuck if he's a rugby player that surfs and rides a motorbike and has fantastically blue eyes? Correct him! This is what my brain is shouting at me. You know you're right, do it, Nikki. And my brain is screaming this. But there's another part of my body that's screaming something else. I'm not going to tell you what it was saying because my dad's over there right now. And I think he's proud enough for the evening. So, I had this dilemma on my hands. Do I stand up for my science, man up and stand up for it, or lie down for something else? So, ladies and gentlemen, you're asking, what did I do? What did I do? Well, later that night at the apartment, in bed, the girl with the dragon tattoo got finished off. That's not a metaphor, that was the book. It's a thrilling read and I recommend it to anybody. But to be honest, I'm secretly proud of the fact that I stood up for my science. I saw somebody was wrong and I corrected them. And I love my science. I think anyone who knows me knows that. I've wanted to be a scientist since I was 5 years old, and I love everything that goes with it. I love being a dweeb more than anything. I love arguing about obscure Star Trek references, and I love getting the little jokes in the Big Bang Theory. And I love reading miserable novels about a post-apocalyptic dystopian future. And I love getting on the train to Dundee and seeing how that would look. But most of all, as you can guess, I love talking about my science. So I'm so glad that you guys came to listen to it. And if anyone wants a sexy argument at the bar later on, mine's the vodka soda.